What do we call these 5 lines? They're called the staff. The purpose of this lesson is to clarify the difference between notes being on the lines or spaces, because a lot of kids get it mixed up. And also I'm going to introduce the difference between treble clef and bass clef. So let's start with this note. What kind of note is that? This note is a whole note. How many beats is a whole note? A whole note is 4 beats. How many eighth notes are in a whole note? There are 8 eighth notes in a whole note because a whole note is counted 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. You do that. Ready, go. So now, most of the kids in the school, well, maybe a lot of the kids in the school, look at this and say, well, that note's in a line, because if it was a person, it would be sitting on this line right here, like we're sitting on a line. But in music, we don't say it that way. In music, if it's between 2 lines, it's inside this space, we say it's on a space. So this note is on a space because it's between the 2 lines. So this one, when the line goes through the head of the note, it is on a line. So the line actually has to go through the head of the note to be on a line. And if it's between the 2 lines, it's not on the line, it's on a space, because this is a space right here between the 2 lines. So I'm going to test you out on it. Let me put this whole note in different places. Is this on a line or a space? Because the line goes through the middle of the note, this note's on the line. Line or space? This note's on a line because the line goes through the middle of the note. Line or space? Because this note is in between 2 lines, this is on a space. Line or space? This note's on a space. And hypothetically, if you had a ledger line below that note, look, it's between 2 lines. This note is on a space. What if it was down here? That note's on the line because the line goes through the head of the note. So that's with the whole note, which was the easiest one to use. Let's use this note now. What's the name of this note? This is a quarter note. How many beats is a quarter note? Quarter note's 1 beat. How many eighth notes are in a quarter note? There are 2 eighth notes in a quarter note. What part of the quarter note is this? This is the head. What part of the quarter note is this? This is the stem. Very important that the head is what determines if it's on a line or a space, not the stem. So let's do this. Is this on a line or a space? Because it's between these 2 lines, here, it's on a space. What about this? Because it's on this line, and the line goes through it, this is on a line. What about this one? Remember, stems can go upside down. Is that on a line or a space? Since the line goes through the head of the note, this note's on the line. What about this one? Since the line goes through the head of the note, this is on a line. What about this? This note is on a space because it's between the 2 lines. What about up here? Is that on a line or a space? So you might be thinking, well, it's sitting on the line. I see the line here, it's sitting on it. It's not on a line. It's on a space, because in music, if it's between 2 lines, which hypothetically there could be a ledger line right here, it's on a space. So that is not on a line, even though you might be thinking, well, it's sitting on the line. It's not. It's actually on a space because it's inside the space between the 2 lines. So I want you to understand that. So now we've discussed the lines and the spaces, and we're going to review something you've learned before. We're going to talk about the lines of the treble clef, and I'm going to show you what a treble clef looks like. Next to my thumb here is a clef. This is the treble clef. See how all those curved squiggly lines? Also notice there's a circle right here by my thumbnail. It circles the G line. See how there's a G right there on that line? The treble clef is also known as the G clef because the purpose of it is to circle the line with the G. I'm going to ask you that later. So this is the treble clef, also known as the G clef. Let's go over the sentence for the treble clef. Empty garbage before Dad flips. Say that. So that's if notes are in the lines. If the notes are in the spaces, it's F-A-C-E, spell face. So I'm going to put the note on lines or spaces, and you have to tell me what word or letter goes there. What word goes there? Empty garbage. Because this note is on a line, it's garbage. It's also on that line that the clef circles, the treble clef. What was a word for this? Empty garbage before Dad. This is Dad, and it's on a line. What about this? F-A-C-E, face. So this is a C. It's on a space because it's between the two lines. What about this? Empty, because it's on the bottom line. Let's now talk about the other clef. This one is the bass clef, right next to my thumb. Let me get that to clear up. So it's just like one squiggle with the two dots. See those two dots and there's a line between them? That's F. See that note there? That note is an F because it's on the line between the two dots of the bass clef. So the bass clef is also known as the F clef because it shows you where F is. And the bass clef has a different sentence for the lines. So if notes are in the lines, they are glad bags don't fall apart. Let's say that. So you probably guessed the spaces have to be all cows eat grass. Let's say that. So I'm going to put in a note. Let me work with the whole note again this time. You give me the word. What word is that? Glad bags. This is a B because it's on a line. What word is that? All cows eat. That's an E because it's in the space. What about this? Glad bags don't fall apart. That's an A. What about this? All cows eat grass. This is all A because it's on a space. What's this one? Empty garbage before, glad bags don't fall. This is an F, and I'll show you once again on the handbell, trying to make some connections for you. You have the bass clef, and if you look carefully enough, that's the same note. It's on the fourth line. So that's how you read the bass clef. So it's glad bags don't fall apart for the lines. All cows eat grass for the spaces. And I'm going to teach you one more thing about this that you probably didn't realize. You all know the alphabet. What letter goes in this space? In this space is A for all. Watch this. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then if you move up another letter and you have the ledger line, C. Let's do that together. Let's start with A, because you do need to understand that this is alphabetical. Ready? Go. A, this is on the line. B, what's next? C, it's on the space. What's next? D, what's in this space? E, what letters on this line? F, what letters in this space? G, what letters on this line? A, What letters in this space? B. And then what about on this ledger line above B? That's C. So let's say it together. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Let's go backwards. C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C, B, A. You didn't realize you have to say your alphabet backwards to be able to read music, huh? Let's do it again. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. There's no H. Let's go backwards. Ready? Go. C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C, B, A. So that's your musical alphabet. Let's review these clefs. What is the name of this clef? This clef is the G clef. Sorry, this clef is the treble clef. Let's review the name of this clef. What's this clef? This clef is the bass clef. What is on the line between those two little dots? See those two little dots there? What letter's on that line? That's an F. That's why this is also called an F clef. And let's go back to the treble clef. You see the treble clef, see my thumb, and there's that circle on the bottom. See that circle thing there? What line is the circle? This circle is G, and you see the G right there on that line? So the treble clef is also known as the G clef. And before you go, what do we call these 5 lines? We call them the staff.